Howdy, howdy, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Today, we are doing something fairly similar to something we've done before, and it is a tier list baby. Today, we're going over something that I actually do have a little bit more knowledge of, and that is water. Water bottles, their brands, are they good? Who knows? I went through because none of the lists had most of the lists on the tier list, tier view or whatever the hell the tier maker had 8 brands or something. Not a lot. So I went through and found 22. I think it's 22 that I'm aware of, that I know exist, and we're just gonna rank them because I've had just about all of them except for one of these. So I actually am gonna put a row below here, and we're gonna make that and just say no input. There we go. And that is Icelandic water. Haven't had Icelandic water. I don't really. I've seen people talk about. I've heard people talk about it, and I've maybe seen it in stores, but I've never actually been interested in getting it. No offense to the brand, I'm sure it's good. It's just that I have no idea. And we're going to start with a very simple one, that's Dasani. Dasani is by far the most disgusting water you will ever put in your mouth. I don't know how people still drink Dasani. I think it's just because that's the water of choice in McDonald's or Subway. Which is just, it's a shame. It's a shame that anywhere is selling Dasani and telling you it is water. It is downright deplorable. I could be wrong about this, but I do remember years ago, someone, a bunch of people talking about how the UK or certain places banned Dasani, or was it Aquafina? One of the two, because they didn't deem it as good enough quality water. Actually, I'm gonna pause the video just so I can take a look and see actually. Okay. So this may be just a UK thing, but apparently in 2004 they stopped selling Dasani because it was found to contain illegal levels of bromate, which could increase the risk of cancer. And just generally speaking, I don't think anyone's going to want to drink water that... I'm sure they've maybe updated their whatever the hell, but by gum, they did not do a good job because it still tastes disgusting. I wouldn't be surprised if I was getting cancer from Dasani water. But one that's barely, and I mean barely, behind, in front of Dasani is Aquafina. Aquafina does what Dasani does a little bit less, at least for me. I think a lot more people seem to hate Aquafina more than Dasani, which blows my mind. Probably because they like McDonald's and I'll sit through a Dasani, but God forbid to give me an Aquafina. And I do think they can be interchangeable. I just think that Dasani is the worst one. Aquafina is, and Dasani as well, they both leave you more thirsty than you were when you came into it, which I think is the whole point. I'm pretty sure that the reason they give you these waters is, and these are two of the most popular brands in restaurants and not restaurants, but fast food places, stores and stuff like that. I think it's just to keep you getting more water. So hey, you're not gonna buy a soda, that's fine. Just buy 5 bottles of our water because you're gonna be so thirsty by the end of the day. You're gonna wish you just frickin' brought your own tap. So it's just. But Aquafina, slightly better tasting in my opinion, but still, these two, I would never drink. The only other one that is going in F tier with these, and this might shock people, because honestly, I see so many people drinking this water, is Ice Canyon. There are some brands on here that aren't super universal. I think Ice Canyon is one of them. I don't understand. And this may be just the fault of the bottle that I got. I like the squirt bottles of things more, just because I like to squirt the water into my mouth. It's just fun. It's stupid. Just let me have something, all right? But Ice Canyon water does so much injustice to what water should be, and it is probably the most plasticky tasting water I've ever had in my life. I'm sure, maybe, just the regular caps, they don't actually, taste that bad. but holy freaking moly, it is rough sitting through it. I got it because when I was at work, there's a lot of different brands of water, so I went out of my way to try each one at least once. And I tried Ice King twice because I was like, "There's no way it could be that bad." Like so many of my coworkers, their go-to water is Ice King because it's pretty cheap. That's what I'm assuming. Not that it's good, but it's just, oh my word, it is so bad. It is actually just awful. Well, I forgot a water. You know, hold on, because I thought I put the water in there. Okay, hold on 1 second, boys. I'm gonna pause. Okay, there we go. So, I forgot Poland Spring. I know I had Poland Spring, but for whatever reason, the file wasn't in the same spot as the rest of them. I don't know. But let's just try to readjust. Okay, that's good. So, next we move, I'm gonna try doing this by tier. So I guess we'll just move up to now. So, D tier. What do I think is a D tier water? I think probably Nestle for sure. Nestle's definitely not. Nestle's water bottle brand is Pure Life, which is the most ironic thing for Nestle to say about anything that they produce. But beyond that, their water is just not that great. I mean, it's definitely okay, but it's not one that I go out of my way to get in a mile. Like if I was 5 miles away, like let's say I only had like 5 miles to go before I died of freaking dehydration, and there was a Nestle factory, Nestle water station 3 miles away, but there was, let's say, a better water brand that I'm not gonna try and spoil the list, that is like just barely next to that 5 mile journey, like at the very end of that 5 miles, I would rather just trek it for that 5 miles, because Nestle's just not great. It's not as bad as these. Like if it was like Dasani or Aquafina or Ice King versus Nestle, I would have a Nestle bottle any day of the week. But otherwise, it's just not good. Essentia, I also am not the biggest fan of. It's definitely not as bad as Nestle, I don't think. But just it's definitely not one that I go for. It's okay. You know, it's okay. Oh, I forgot another water actually. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. The more I look at this, I just immediately think of more different types of water. I saw the black, and I was like, oh wait, I forgot Path Water. Path Water I'll talk about later. It's definitely not D tier, that's for sure. It is not D tier. Another one that I genuinely think is D tier is Voss Water. I, like, probably even more so than Essentia. Voss, to me, isn't good. I don't like it. It's just not a pleasant water. I know a lot of people like Voss water. I don't know if it's because of the bottle shape. Probably is. It's a really cool canister looking thing. Very cool, but not tasty in the slightest. I cannot give any recommendations of Voss water. And one of the main things is, for me, it had that sort of, you know, like orange juice and toothpaste effect for like, I think as a kid, I had, like, not even as a kid, it was like a few years ago, but I'm still fairly young, but, I had Voss water in, like, high school, and then I had, like, a bag of cheese curls or something, and it made those cheese curls taste absolutely disgusting. Like, it wasn't the cheese curls, because then, like, I had them later with different water, and they were fine, but Voss water just made things taste different, and I don't understand how that made sense or why, but it did, at least for me, and that's one of the main reasons I don't like it, but also it's just not good. My family loves Voss water, so I would bump it up more, but this is me, this is my list, and you are going to have to deal with it. Another D tier water, I think, is, I want to say pH, but I really... Yeah, I have to say pH. pH, otherwise known as perfect hydration water, is... It's just, like... It's fairly cheap. Like, at my store, it usually goes on sale very frequently as well, so you can get it. You can get a pretty good bang for your buck with that water. It's a very tall, thin bottle, and just generally... Sorry, I was gonna yawn. I wasn't about to start crying about pH water, but yeah, just generally speaking, it's not... There's so many better waters on this list, I can only give it D tier, but that's about all I can say. It's definitely top of D tier, because I have... Just generally, these aren't the best. So then we have C tier. In C tier, I think one of these definitely belongs in C tier, and that's core water. C for core. Core is, I guess, the core of the list because it's definitely taken C tier. It's not good. It's not bad for me. I just don't know. Like, core is fun water. I like using the little. It's like Voss in the sense that I'd like to like pour the water into the little cup lid and then I'd sip it from there. It was just stupid, but it was all right. You know, core. There's nothing really bad to say about it, but there's also really nothing good to say about it except the bottle is fun. But that's not the water. You know, you could put any water in the core bottle and it would instantly make it a better water. No, it wouldn't. It would make it the same, but it would make it a much more fun experience. I think, even if it was like a basic bottle, though, I still would put it in C. It's just okay water. I mean, there's really nothing good or bad about it. Same thing with Smart Water. I think I like core more than Smart Water. I think people overhype Smart Water. I don't really get why they overhype Smart Water, but I mean, it's Smart Water. You know, you can't. It's just basic, you know. Like, you'd think like a brand as popular as Smart Water would actually have something going for it, but like a lot of people I know either like I think one of my friends like drinks Smart Water almost exclusively, and the rest of them hate it. I'm very neutral about it, so that's why I can see. But it's strangely polarizing for a lot of people. I don't know if it's just because the name, people immediately either love or hate it. It's like, look at me, I'm smart, I'm drinking Smart Water, that's how smart I am. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think another C tier is probably Crystal Geyser. Probably on the bottom spectrum of C tier. Crystal Geyser is just... I think people more have had Crystal Geyser in like the big gallon, like the super like the $2 gallon bottles with like the weird paper handle thing. I don't understand that, but hey, to each their own. That's a very interesting bottle design to be sure. But I put the bottle. I've never actually seen it in smaller bottles. I've only seen it in those big gallons, and I've had it before. It's fine. Nothing too crazy about it. It's definitely good for your buck. Like pH water, like perfect hydration water. You know, it's okay, but I'd say Crystal Geyser is definitely better for your money because they're both fairly cheap. Unless you're probably getting a bigger bottle of this, because you have bigger bottles of this, and it's like double the price of this. So definitely, if you're gonna get a gallon of water, definitely get this. If you're gonna get a bottle of water, if you somehow find Crystal Geyser in its water bottle form, definitely get Crystal Geyser. But don't get it over most of the other waters, because it's very basic. It's okay, you know. I think Alkaline 88, probably a little bit better than that, but still not great. It's just water. I feel like C is pretty much just the space where most of these are gonna land, because I don't have any like super polarizing opinions about it, unless it's like I'm over loving it or I'm under hating it. But it's just not. It's okay, you know. There's really nothing else for me to say about it. I like the color scheme. The color scheme's really nice, and I do think it could. I just think it could be better. There's really nothing else I can say. I can see, I think, 3 more waters that are going into C tier, and one of them is Evian. Evian is, I think better than Smart Water, but I think that's as far as it goes. I'd probably rather have core than Evian. Evian, I think, could use a bit more kick, and by kick I just mean like, I honestly don't know what I mean, but I think it's just bland. I mean, like, when it's cold, Evian's really good, and I think that's the case for a lot of these waters. You have to have it cold, right? Because if you're having warm water, I mean, if you're having warm water, you're definitely already shooting yourself in the foot trying to drink water. You can have such better, just anything, like any sort of experience with water if it is cold. So, but Evian specifically, I do not like it if it is not like really cold, and even then, Evian's still like fairly middle ground, you know, like there's still other waters I'd rather drink. One that I wouldn't actually rather drink is one that's fairly popular. Not popular. It is the most expensive water on this list, and a lot of people are going to think that that's Fiji. It is not Fiji. It's actually Aqua Panna. Aquapana I'd probably have before Smart Water as well, but definitely not before an Evian water. Aquapana is, it's definitely like good water. It's like, maybe I should put it in B, because it is okay. Yeah, I'll put it in B for now. It is okay. It's just, and it is better than I think every other bottle in the C tier. Maybe not core, so it's definitely like borderline B C, but it's just, it's definitely got that crisp factor to it. It's very refreshing. It's just that it could taste better. Like I can still taste kind of what's going on inside the bottle, the plasticky bits, but definitely not nearly as much as like Ice Canyon. Definitely not enough to be a bad water. I think the last actual C tier is Life Water, and that's probably like before Alkaline. Actually, yeah, before Smart Water too. I don't care much for Smart Water, but definitely more than those. But yeah, Life Water is good. It's fairly new to me. I haven't had it too many times, but the one time I did, it was actually pretty pleasant. But I would still definitely rather have other waters over it. Aquapana is definitely going to be like the very back of B, because I don't have that much else to say about it other than just it was good. It was pretty good. What else is going in B? I think Iceland Lava is going in B, because Iceland Lava is actually really good. It took me so long to find this water because Google refused to admit that it exists, which is very strange. But I mean, hey, Google, whatever you're gonna do, you do it. But very good water. Yeah, I mean, that's really all there is to it. I like the bottle. It's very similar to Fiji bottle. I like less round. I like an interesting bottle. If you have an interesting method of getting it into my mouth, then I'm gonna somehow like it a little bit better. Deer Park is also, I think I would say, above those two. Deer Park is good. Deer Park, I think, is a very it's like it's water for like a certain area. Like right now I'm in Pennsylvania, and Deer Park I've only really seen here in Pennsylvania, so I'm pretty sure it's like a Pennsylvania water. Maybe not bottled from Pennsylvania, but it's definitely one that's sold a lot in Pennsylvania. And Deer Park is good. Deer Park, like, you don't expect, like, just, like, I guess, like, regional water to taste good, or, like as good as other ones, but it's up there. Like, if you handed me, like, a core bottle, or, like a Smart Water, or any, like, most name brand bottles, I would rather have a Deer Park bottle, because especially when it's cold, oh, it is so good. But the thing is, though, Deer Park is one of those that comes into super big bundles, too, so like 24 packs or 30 packs or whatever, and those you don't normally put in the fridge, you just kind of let them sit there. They're still good, even when they're like room temps, leaning towards the cooler side, they're still pretty good. And it's one of the only bottles that I can actually say is that. Is there anything else that goes in B? I think this one. Waiakea, I think is, I don't think it's how you pronounce it, but it's Waiakea. So however the hell you pronounce that. I had this very recently, and it is very, it's good water. It's definitely good water. I'd say it's not too expensive either, but it's definitely getting there. It's definitely like one of the bottles that's getting there for me. But either way, it is still pretty dang good water. It's just that I don't think I'd go out of my way to get it again, but I'm very, very happy that I got it the first time. And then I think we can move into A. Yeah, we can definitely move into A. There's 3 here, I think, that are going in A, and the other 3 are for S. At the very bottom, I want to say Eternal Water, because Eternal Water, for me, is really good. Like, I think it is some of the, one of the, as you can see, one of the top 6 waters of all these that you can actually get, which is very odd, because no one, like, my sister also, I share with her my water tastes, and she's not into this one, so I don't understand why. I think hearing that someone else wasn't really that into it sort of sullied it for me, because I would have probably put it in S before I heard that, but then when I heard that someone else didn't actually like it as much as I thought it was good, definitely was like, okay, maybe it's not as great as it is. Then I had it again, I'm like, it definitely could be better. It's definitely not as good as some of the other waters that are left. So I think that's where it sits, but it's good. Okay, so then definitely next up would probably be Path Water. Path Water, when it is, this is a very, like, you need it in good conditions water, because I've had it in I've had two completely polarizing and different instances with Path Water. One of them was when it was very, very cold. It was nice, it was cold, it was in the fridge. You couldn't ask for a better experience for water than Path Water. I was really considering putting an S because of that, because it is so, it's like you're drinking nothing. It is like when Path Water is cold, it is one of the best waters, because it is so dang just water. It doesn't have any, like, extra taste or anything. It is in a metal bottle, which might contribute to why that is, but it is good. It is really good. Like, you drink that and you don't even think you had water. You just think, wow, I'm refreshed. This is a good experience. Like, you don't have that same weird taste that a lot of water bottles will give you. Like, I think anything below B sort of has some sort of taste to it, like when you're drinking it. But Path Water has no taste. It is just water, and it is amazing. The only reason it is not an S is because it is probably one of the worst waters when it is warm. It just tastes like sauna water. Like if you went into a sauna and then like just took all like this weird steamy water and you like left it in a bottle and then come back to it and you drink it. It's so, ugh. That was the first time I had Path Water, which is why I was like, this water is awful. But then we actually I had some in the fridge, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is like, what? How is this so different? It has such different taste depending on how you have it. And it blows my mind. Path Water is definitely one of the weirder waters, but oh my god, it is so good if you can get it cold. But otherwise, it is not good at all, and that's the only reason it's not in S, is because of my first experience with it being not cold. And the last one of these four that is going in the A tier is Poland Spring. I'm a New Yorker at heart, baby, and Poland Spring was one of the waters that we had everywhere. And it is good water. I at least for me. Again, I think like my sister, I think, is slowly weaning off of Poland Spring. They're not as big of a fan. But I feel like if you took someone from Pennsylvania and you put them in New York for the first time, and you give them a bottle of Poland Spring, they're gonna think probably what I thought with Ice Canyon, and that it is just such a bizarre taste to it. Because for me, I don't taste anything weird with it. It is a cool, crisp, delicious water. But for whatever reason, like, I have that feeling, because it's in my head, it's one of those like more regional waters. So I think depending on who you are and when you're drinking it, it definitely has an impact on the taste. But for me, it's up there. It is just incredible. I mean, getting a cold squirt bottle of Poland Spring is like my go-to water, because it's fairly cheap. It's like I think it's like 10 cents more than an Ice Canyon squirt bottle than at my store. And it is so good. It is so refreshing. It is crisp. It's cool. It's clean. It's just amazing. But the only thing is that the only thing is that it is not as good as these last three waters, because as good as Poland Spring is, it is cheap and it is good. These are a little more expensive, but if you are willing to put in the extra couple dollars, you are in paradise, baby. These are some of the best waters. And in third place, I have to go to Liquid Death, because I've only actually had it once. But that one experience with Liquid Death, it is such a good water. It's in a can, so it's not necessarily a bottle. There are that and one of the other ones on the list definitely break the rules kinda with water, with it being a bottle, but it's still a widely packaged and produced and shipped out and sold brand of water, so I counted it. I think this one's fairly new, actually. I don't have any justification or jurisdiction about knowing, but I think it's fairly new. But it's good water. It is really, really good water. I mean, it is. I think because this and Path water are very similar in that since it's like a metal sort of container, it doesn't really mess with the taste as much. Because plastic can definitely, if it's bad plastic or like shitty plastic, it can definitely ruin a water bottle. But Liquid Death has that same sort of just clear, flavorless, just cool, refreshing experience as like good Path water does. So I'm sure if Liquid Death wasn't cold, it wouldn't be as good. But the only experience I've had with it is cold, and it was amazing. So I cannot even imagine Liquid Death water being bad. Whereas Path water, I've had it bad, and it can definitely be bad. Second place, is it Fiji or Just Water? It is Just Water. I think Just Water, and this is the other one that kind of breaks the rules. It's like a boxed water. But I got this super early on when I first started working, and at the store I'm at now, and I got it off a whim because I was like, this is a funny looking water. I'll give this a try. It is so just flavorless in the best way possible because you can just, and it's so refreshing. Even when it's not cold, it's still pretty good because it's just a nice, refreshing taste. There's nothing to hate about Just Water for me. I think the only thing I could hate about it is one time my sister dropped a bottle of it next to me because I told her I'd catch it, but I knew I wasn't gonna catch it. But then she let go and I didn't catch it, obviously, and then it splurted open on the ground, and I was like, shoot, well, I have to drink it from the hole that it made now. She was super apologetic about it, but I was like, I knew what I was doing. But, so I guess it's a little bit frail, because it's a boxed water, so you have to be kind of careful with it, unlike the rest of these, which is, like, pretty solid, pretty stable. But Just Water is, it's amazing. I couldn't find a single list on here that had Just Water, which is the main reason that I had to make my own, is because, oh my goodness, Just Water is just what you need. And I would absolutely, like, sell my soul for like a lifetime supply of Just Water. Just Water is just fantastic. You can't knock Just Water. It's so good. The only thing that tops it in my head is Fiji, because Fiji is that one water that everyone just sort of associates with some snobby rich asshole who's like, I only drink Fiji water, or hey, Fiji water is the only water I want because it's the best and it's expensive. And it is fairly expensive. It is the second most expensive water on this list. Second being Aquapana. Actually, no, first being Aquapana, then Fiji. And I usually get Just Water. If I'm gonna go out of my way to get a slightly more expensive water than Poland Spring, I will get Just Water just because it is cheaper, but not by much, but by enough that I'm like, I could get two of these, I can get two of these, and it'll be like a $1 difference. So I'm like, Just Water. Just for that alone, I usually get Just Water if I'm gonna have water. But Fiji, when you're willing to like put out the extra dimes for Fiji water, you're gonna have a fantastic, refreshing, crisp, delicious taste and experience, because it is like, it's legit from what I understand. It's actually like bottled in Fiji, so you kind of get that sort of like, I'm drinking tropical water, which I don't really care about per se, but it is definitely, it's just so good. My mom hates Fiji water, and I hate her for it. I haven't talked to her in years. That's not true, but but it could be. And I wouldn't stop myself from believing that would be true. But Fiji water is just banging. I mean, you cannot go wrong with Fiji water. Like, every other water on this list, except maybe like Just Water, has a potential to be bad, depending on who you are. Fiji water, and maybe Just Water, because from what I know, Just Water is amazing, everyone I know loves it. But maybe there's someone out there who cannot like it. But Fiji Water, if you're paying the top dollar, then you are absolutely getting your money's worth. Like, for sure, 110%. And with that, I guess that is my water bottle tier list. So, if you're gonna go get some of these waters, might I recommend some from the top shelf? But yeah, so those are definitely the best waters you can get. I think if you go for anything B and up, you can't go wrong. Those 10 are probably, they definitely are my top 10 waters, unless I'm forgetting one. I think, Big Chill is a water. Shit. Okay, but you know what? Big Chill isn't one of the top ones. It's definitely probably C or D, so I wouldn't go out of your way to get it anyway. But these are definitely the top 10. So Aquapana, Iceland Lava, Waikiki, Deer Park, Eternal, Path, Poland Spring, Liquid Death, Just Water, and then Fiji. That is my top 10, and this is my list. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you agree. If you don't, you gotta get some better taste buds, man. The main reason I went for this tier list specifically is because this is the only thing I drink. I don't drink sodas or lemonades or whatever. Not for like a health thing. I'm not the healthiest guy, just by a mile. But yeah, water is like the only thing I drink, just because my throat and taste buds don't allow anything else. So, and it's not like a health thing. Again, it's very just my mouth is the pickiest son of a bitch you'll ever find, and it only enjoys water. Like any other liquid that has, it's just not gonna happen. Anything in even a moderately liquidy state will never happen in my mouth. But I hope you all enjoyed listening to me ramble about water for 30 minutes. And I hope to hear what your opinions are down in the comments or something. I have no idea. But yeah, whatever you want to do. Or you can just go out, buy these waters, and tell me that I'm right. I'm telling you, I am right. So thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye now.